Hello, welcome to the 30th FilmFestival Cottbus. My name is Bernd. I'm the program director, and I'd like to introduce you to Metod Pevecs, director from Slovenia, whose film I Am Frank was released last year and is presented this year in the Spectrum section at the FilmFestival Cottbus. Welcome, Metod, to Digital Cottbus.
Hello.
So, your film shows a character which comes back to Slovenia a couple of years after he left the country. He comes from Israel, meets his brother, and he meets another society as the one he left. So what was your initial idea to make the film, to develop this story between two brothers who are so different to each other?
In fact, the reason was that on the very beginning I have a character, this Frank, and it was, I felt like he is very similar to me. So I think that both brothers are in a way me, if you want. It is strange, I know, but I have studied philosophy, at the times, at 90s, in a socialist country called Yugoslavia, and I was full of Marxism at that time, studying philosophy and comparative literature. And I don't know why, then for a few years in this democracy wave, I was kind of ashamed of this Marxism in my head. But later on, especially in last years, I realized that I need to read this guy again to rethink about what's happening to us. So I was thinking that myself was wrong about understanding the way in which our society is going. So I was afraid that this greed of capitalism is completely wrong, that we have to rethink. That's why I remember me 20 years ago with my revolutionary hat, and it was a kind of revoking of this, my youth in this Frank. So approximately this. First was the idea and the character.
Does it also split in society? I mean, we can observe this in many ex-socialist countries, especially now that society is going in different directions. Is it the same with Slovenia? And was there also the idea to have a metaphorism for this development?
Oh, this is what it's difficult for me to answer. I don't know. I was not really following what's happening in other countries. But my opinion was that maybe it is quite similar, because I think that there was a big damage which happened with the fall of socialism, communism, because then we have this only one winner. And now it's so completely very sure that this is the only way how we can arrange our society, how it can work. But in fact, it's not true. So, but I don't want to analyze how it's in different countries. I just feel that I don't have anymore the country I used to have. So I don't have this country which I have before I went to Israel. So if you want a comparison. So I think that I don't know. It's a bit different in Germany. You have a kind of old democracy, and I would like to have that kind of democracy in Slovenia, as the type of right-wing Angela Merkel government. But in our part, Eastern European countries, somewhere we have, in the name of kind of anti-communism, we have in fact very traditional, very autocratic regimes. So this is quite wrong. So in the name of communism, in the name of whatever was wrong at that time, but this is false, this is not true. So this is fake, a big fake, and I try to fight against this fake.
So how did the audience react if there was a release? I mean, it's pandemic, but maybe there was some festival screenings, at least of the film in Slovenia. You have the audience which, like you, experienced both systems, but you have also younger people who did not experience Yugoslavia. So do they have a completely different view on the film?
Yeah, there were different reactions. Younger people were not completely aware what I'm talking about in the film, but the elder people with this Yugoslavian and socialist experience were completely. They were in fact enthusiastic about the film. They understand what we are talking about in this movie. So I'm so sorry that we couldn't reach the young people, because for them I don't know, they were just following the story. They were not able to grab and understand the background of it. So but still there is a lot of people, especially now in the Slovenian cinemas, especially elder people go to the cinemas more than younger people who are more on computers and TV screens. And so this was a completely, two types of reactions on the film. And I also think that maybe it's difficult to understand the film for someone abroad without this experience. Okay, but
yeah, but I think that's what I mentioned, that it's easier to understand for people living in countries which have been socialist before, including Eastern Germany, as we could, I think we could have a similar story also in the Cottbus region, for instance. So, and how did you work with your main actor? You said it's based on your own experiences, so I can imagine it's not so easy to fill this the character and to work with the actor, because he has another background.
Yes, he has another background, but he he's still a similar age, so he was able to understand what we are talking about. In fact, he is a very well-known theater actor, very good theater actor with he has much less film experience. So this was for his first main role in the film. So sometimes he used to play some supporting roles, smaller one, and in short films, short movies. But this was really his first huge main leading role. So he felt very responsible to it. So we worked for a year or more, first discussing about, then trying to understand the roots of the character, how he is based, where are his emotions, to understand his personal history, even if it's not in the film. And what is for me a very important criteria while making a cast is if someone, I mean the actor, is really honest person. And I just remember him when we were making auditions on the very beginning. And when he was for the second time there, he was in a couple with an actress, and he was very bad in this, this audition, how we tried to do something. And then later he called me and said, "Sorry, Metod, I was so afraid about her. So I know I was awful. And this is what I like, when someone is very honest to me, then I know we can work, and that we can also, when, during shooting, there are very difficult situations sometimes. And I know that if we have that kind of relation, we can do a lot. And because I don't like actors who say, just explain me, I can do everything for you. This is not true. You are limited, like I am limited, everybody's limited. So we are not gods. We try to do our best. And yes, Janez is one really honest actor. So, and all the time when we were working, we have really honest relationship. We were very open to each other. And I think this is the only way to make something really good, especially if there is a complicated character like he is. So it's not a simple story, it's not a simple character. He has some difficult, different layers. And yeah, that's about him. I like him very much. I hope I will work with him again.
I agree. He's acting very well in that. I agree also. It's a kind of schizophrenic character, even sometimes, and changing emotions from anger to calmer regions of the soul, and so it's working very well with him. So did you have also experience in documentary films? So how did it influence your fiction filmmaking? So as observing situations, for instance.
Yeah, I love documentaries because especially now, you know, because of this development of technology, you can shoot almost by yourself, which I do with some documentary films. And this is a luxury for me. I mean, really luxury, because I don't like the, you know, huge crew. This is a huge organism, and you need to lead, I don't know, 20, 50 people on the set. It's so you're busy with organization, with and you are forced to shoot on the plan, to reach the plan, and the producer is behind you, and there is a big amount of money in it. So when you're shooting documentary, it's really relaxing. So especially if you are with the people almost alone, like there is no camera at all. This is the feeling that you are really in touch with the material you try to represent in the film. So I like documentaries very much, and now I'm planning to shoot a documentary in a Slovenian prison with some with the help and cooperation with some psychiatrist who is a specialist for psychodrama method, and so we will try to make a story in the with the people who are very special characters, of course. And this is the plan, and I like this way of working. And of course, it is the other thing is nowadays, you know, we are so full of everything, you know, and so I think that the fiction films are losing the credibility. I don't know what's happening, but our computers are full of YouTube and a lot of material which is realistic, which is there, and so the feature fiction film, I think it's losing its volume as it used to have. So especially if you don't go to the cinema, where you are forced, where you are closed in a theater in this darkness, and you are really linked to the story. Now we are watching fiction films on the tablets, phones, computers. Okay, TV screens could be a little better, but you know, still you are at home, or you are disturbed with everything, phones and phone calls and whatever. So a documentary is different, I think.
Maybe the pandemic and the quarantine situation fastens this process even more. So I still hope that fiction film will not die out so soon. And what I also observed, so you were first time in Cottbus in 1996. I just showed you the catalog of the 96 film. It was your first feature, here, Carmen. It was also dealing with a special character. So are you always dealing with characters on the margin of society? And
no, not always, not always. Maybe these two films are really examples of it. This Carmen was a kind of a portrait of a real person which I met a long time ago, of course. But no. You know, many of my films are, in fact, non-festival films, like, you know, for TV screens. I like also that kind of films, some romantic comedies. And so, you know, because I like also like light stories with good actors. So these are films which are not invited to the festivals, of course, but and these are very, I would say, maybe also specific character, because I always try to first to build a good character, because I think that if you have a real good character at your table, the character will help you to write the story. Because if you are writing first the story with bad characterization, with you are accompanied with empty persons, so the story will be empty. So this is my opinion. Some people prefer to have a story first and then developing characters. But I'm not going to write till I have a character here sitting near me that I know that this character already speaks his own language, that he's my partner at that work. Otherwise, I'm talking to, I don't know, no one. This is a way how I am working and writing, and so.
how was it with Frank? You said at the beginning that it's partly your own character built on your own experience.
Sorry, I didn't hear you good now.
So how was it to build the character of Frank, as you mentioned in the beginning of the Q&A, that it's built on your own experience and it reflects your own character also?
Yeah, I think that Frank is, you know, this my hidden part of myself. You know, when sometimes you are thinking how wrong I can go, I could go, how, you know, how far could happen my story if I wouldn't control myself. So Frank is behind that my control. When I'm just thinking, I can imagine I could do something like this, you know. So it just, in effect, I just kind of prolong myself in the area where I'm not going other way, you know. I'm this is my forbidden area or something, like, you know. So this is just I think this is not exaggeration, but it is a kind of you know, I think that we are not only what we are in fact. We are, and we are aware also about this part of our personality which could realize, but because of some reasons it don't. First of all, because of we are able to control ourselves. So, but I think I can know my how would I say, my dark side.
How about Brane? Is there also a real life experience for the character of Brane, the counterpart of Frank?
Brane is in fact not really a part of me, but Brane is a part of maybe also people from my generation. You know, my colleagues at school and so on, which I followed them, and now I just remember some people. You know, we were studying philosophy. We were so poor. You know, we were so modest in any kind. And nowadays, these colleagues are building huge villas and living on really. And I just know, I know how, I know their process, how they became rich, and this is not honest. I know that there is, that they were, that they are I don't know, they are following their greed. And these are also my colleagues, so I know them, a few of them. I'm not their friend, but I know this difference between so-called my colleague Brane before and now. And what happened is only the greed. This guy was nothing special, only just, I think, people who are not, who don't shame to do something illegal, maybe even, or half legal, or whatever. It doesn't matter, but when you are in a situation that you realize some other people can work for you and bring you the profit, it could look very clean, but it's not. Anyhow, it's not. You are exploiting someone, and you should know that.
So I think there's also some real life experience with like with a shoe factory. I think it's also a process which belongs to the transition period in Slovenia, but also in any other Eastern European country. So here comes again the universal angle of the film, I think.
Yeah, this shoe factory is in fact, this is just a documentary part of the film. We were shooting in this shoe factory, and it was a huge shoe factory, also exporting for Germany, West Germany at those times. And it was a good factory, a really good factory, and about 3,000 people employed there. And this was a kind of factory, you know. Now, when I was talking to some people now who are now in pension or whatever, elder people, they were talking with some nostalgia about this factory. They were talking to me how they used to have in the factory their own doctor, their own dentist, their own even own shop for food and other stuff. And they all were very connected. They all were very, they feel like a collective there. And everything this was destroyed in the name of course, of profit. And this is also the problem of globalization. It's cheaper to make shoes in China, but not that quality. So when we need someone to show us how you do the shoe, or how it works, we found there in this small city a small private group with 20 people employed or something. They have a small, very small factory, and the owner and the chief is a very young, ambitious man, clever and running his business. And when we were talking, he put a shoe on the table. Oh, and it was a beautiful shoe. And we look at that shoe, surprised. What is this? But he said, we need few years more to reach this quality. This is Peco, was the name of the factory. This is Peco from 1985.
Oh.
Shit. And so we were losing not only a factory, we were losing a know-how. We were losing know-how. We were losing, the people were proud about what they worked there. They were, in a way, also psychologically, how would I say? They were more healthy.
Yeah.
They were healthy.
They had it was a real society. I think after the closure of those factories, those locations, those small towns are close to die out because people leave, and then the main factor of identification is not anymore.
Yeah, in this small city, it used to be a situation that they used to have more working places than inhabitants in the city. Now, now it's a ghost town completely, because this is not the only factory which was destroyed.
So which is the place where you shot this? Where was it situated? It's close to Ljubljana, or is it another part of?
It is close to Austrian border, very close to Austrian border, but still from Ljubljana about 50-60 kilometers to north. The place is called Tržič, which would say Städtchen or something like Stil.
Okay.
A nice place otherwise, yes, with a long tradition. I don't know if you know Radetzky Marsh. The Radetzky was the general of Austro-Hungarian Empire, and he was the Nestor. He was the he used to live in that city. He built a castle there. In fact, he was a Slovak, I think, but he married to some noble person there in this small city, and so he moved there, and he was also he supported the industry in that city at that time, and of course, in the end, he bankrupt.
I said unfortunately because the sound of this march will now be in my ear for the whole day. Metod, I would say thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you for inviting the film.
And thank you very much for exploring also as parts of the culture and history of Slovenia, which is your film about. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming work. And one day I hope we can also show a romantic comedy by you. So that would be my last question. Do you think that festivals, you told me that the romantic comedies are not festival films. Should festivals maybe change their policy of selection?
I think that there is, I feel that a lack of festivals for comedy, for genre films, and it is, I think it is wrong, because this is also the reason that we don't know European films of that kind. And so there is a lot of place for American productions which can fulfill this niche. But we all need all kinds of films. So I think that there is a lot of potential in this, in comedies and romantic comedies and so on. But you know, this is, I don't know, how do you feel? But sometimes festivals, you know, that directors are somehow linked with their program. They are identifying with the program, and of course they like good films. And I don't say, I think that on the festivals are really good films. So there's no problem in this way. Just that there is not enough film festivals with a profile for maybe a lighter genre. So I know that there is a huge competition in, for example, in the slot of festivals for first and second film of a director. This is almost every second film is that kind of a profile, but this is nonsense. Maybe we have a festival for films for the last film of the director.
Yeah, that would have been tricky to ask a director, please can you apply with your last film? But it should
everyone would pronounce my last film as the last film.
Yeah. But I agree that we are missing a bit genre and comedies. So that's why we profiled our spectrum section also for this kind of movies. So the idea is to program super experimental films, but also genre films. And I think I'm Frank is also in between. It's you can call it a genre film, but you can also name it an arthouse film. So it fulfills both needs and both approaches. So thank you again for this.
Thank you for inviting the film, and I wish you better festival conditions next year.
I'm sure. I hope so. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Ciao.